What is going on, viewers? Welcome back to another episode of Building Anaxes in LEGO. We got week 13 today, and I am very happy to say that the streak of progress has continued to this week's segment. Guys, we have a lot to talk about, and I'm very excited for everything we got done. But to sum it up really briefly, the wall's done. The entire perimeter of the fort is completely done, and we're going to be talking a lot about what that means for the series coming up in the future. So, of course, drop a like before we go ahead and get started, and subscribe if you are new. Now, of course, let's go ahead and take a brief second to acknowledge our two series sponsors. We got Brick Stuff. If you guys are looking for any sort of light up kits or parts for your own mocks and creations, or even sets, Brick Stuff definitely has all the stuff that you need, so definitely go ahead and check them out down below in the description. Of course, use coupon code TBW10 to save 10% off of your order. If you do check out, go support brickstuff.com down below. And second, we have minifigs for you. They have generously supplied the Bad Batch squad of minifigures, custom printed 100%, very nicely detailed minifigures, and they have a whole bunch of other ones. So again, go check them out down below in the description. You can find links to both Brick Stuff and minifigs for you, links in the description below. So what does building Anaxes in LEGO week 13 have in store? 13 weeks, that's kind of crazy. If you put that into perspective, it's been about 3.5 months since week 1 came out, and I am really happy with where we're at right now. As you guys know, if you've been watching my videos, I've been very motivated. I don't know necessarily what happened, but like one day I woke up, I was like super motivated, and it's been continuing now. So I'm trying to really go off of that steam, go off of like the engine of what is motivating me and driving me to get work done, because obviously when school does pick up with exams and stuff like that, it's gonna take a tumble. So I'm trying to get a lot done, as much as I can get done within this sort of time frame that I am still extremely motivated and excited. This week we have 3 big things that we got done. Of course, I did do this all on live stream, which was incredibly fun, so huge thank you to everybody who did join those. 3 things that we got done this week that I'm going to be talking a lot about today. Number 1, we did start the remaining 2 of the watchtowers. If you guys remember, I think it was week 2 where I did the watchtowers. It's been a long time since I did those watch or guard towers, or whatever you want to call them. They're basically the same thing. But I did make a decent amount of progress on those 2, although I did actually run out of pieces. I had initially thought I ordered enough for all 4, but it turns out just wasn't what happened. So I'm going to have to go back, order some parts. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. Number 2 of 3, we got done the second landing pad. Now, really all we need is that second gunship, which will be coming later on. I'll explain more about my plans regarding that. But we got the second landing pad done. It was pretty simple. All I had to do was just pretty much copy the other landing pads. So now, of course, that second landing pad starts to cover a lot more area of the mock than we have to work with. So, of course, that means less stuff we have to work with, which is great. And then third and finally, and the most important, and which is probably the title of this video, the entire perimeter of the fort wall is done. If you guys remember last week, I ran out of parts. I honestly thought I had ordered enough, but obviously not. So I had to wait until Bricklink orders came in early this week. Now, what sucks is the orders came in Monday, so I really couldn't include it in the last previous segment, but literally as soon as those orders came in, I went to work, and I probably worked for about 3 hours getting the rest of the wall done. Of course, finishing those 2 straight modules that we had to work with, but then of course adding the final touches and stuff like that. So a lot of exciting stuff. I'm very happy with what we got done, and of course I'm going to be explaining a lot more about what this stuff means and kind of where the series is going to be going. Now, before I go in and show you the progress for this week, of course, if you guys aren't subscribed, I really appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing and clicking the bell icon. That way you stay up to date. I think you're not going to want to miss any of the series videos coming out every single Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Now, with that all out of the way, let's go ahead and jump on into week 13 of Building Anaxes. So, of course, with every segment we have, I'd like to start off with a time lapse, and here is time lapse footage of both the wall, the towers, and the landing pad, all of which we'll be talking about today. I'm only going to commentate about half of it, and then I'll put some really cool music for you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hopefully this time-lapse clip of me building the straight edge wall will just show you how many pieces actually go into this thing. It's a lot of interlocking with different parts, and honestly does get very grueling and extremely annoying, but I'll talk a little bit more about that. But honestly, it was a really easy thing to do. It just takes a lot of time, but I'm happy about it, and I'm honestly happy that I'm finally done with building the wall. So I got both these walls done. They were on different days, as you could probably already tell, but it was just a process that I was pretty familiar with, and I really honestly know the design of these walls like it's the back of my own hand, so it was pretty easy going through this build. But then what also got a little tricky was working on a live stream trying to get some of the watchtowers built. Now, unbeknownst to me, I thought I had ordered parts for all 4 of the towers, but I didn't, so I wasn't quite able to get everything done for the watchtowers. So with that being said, enjoy the rest of the time lapse of me pretty much putting together the final touches on the mock. So if you guys remember from last week, I gave a very similar sort of overhead shot as to what everything's looking like last week, and you can tell hopefully that there are a lot of differences, a lot of newer additions to Indeed talk about today. Obviously I did mention some of them in the beginning of the video, but guys, the entire fort wall is done. The entire fort itself is completely outlined, and we can see exactly how much room we have to work with. So first things first, we'll work our way through a couple of things, a couple of changes. Number one, and honestly kind of not really too important, I did get started on the actual towers. Obviously there's supposed to be 2 more on this back side, but as you can see, I did run out of parts very fast. I guess I just didn't have enough parts to finish both towers, so that one I kind of got up, but the entire shaft is done, but the main length of this one is not nearly done. So I do still have to work on that. I'm going to be ordering pieces, and that's going to be coming in and kind of being completed sort of as a side thing. It's not really too important, but getting these towers back here done is obviously very important to the overall aesthetic, making sure everything is even and everything is nice and cool for when the finale does drop. So that's kind of a little update about these towers. I actually forgot about how long it takes to build them. If you guys remember, I think it was week 2, over 10 weeks ago, where I built these guys right here, and I honestly forgot how long and how intricate these watchtowers actually are to make it. Just these 2 towers alone probably took about like an hour of work with just that. That's not even including, you know, time to work on the top of the tower and all that stuff. So again, very kind of brief side note with this thing. We do have the 2 towers currently in progress. That will be done hopefully within the next week or 2. I'm not really going to prioritize it. It's not too important. But that being said, when the finale does come around, that will be done. I think that kind of goes without saying. Moving on to number 2 of the 3 things that we got done today, you can see that I did finally build the second landing pad. So this is actually where the landing pads are going to be going. Again, this is the area where the med bay or hospital wing is going to be. I might just move these guys a little bit over because I do actually want to have a little bit of a middle row here, because you guys can see I did put in some 1x1 bricks with the hole in the middle. Those are usually like Technic bricks, but I'm going to be using them to actually include light up bricks and stuff like that around the landing pad. So again, the idea is we're going to have both of our gunships. We'll have one gunship like this on the landing pad, and then another one similarly right there. And then we're going to have a whole bunch of lights that are really going to illuminate the platforms and the gunship. I do also plan on getting a whole bunch of really cool accessories like missile carts and sort of like mechanical items and stuff like that, just to kind of put around the landing pad itself, which is going to look really cool. So obviously this kind of section is kind of like 80% done. We're just waiting on the last gunship. Probably won't come until the later third of the build series here. And then again, like I said, we still have the lights and the supply crates and the small little things to add to really make this entire section, make it look like it's really complete. But I do like it. I also love how it seamlessly fits with everything else, because obviously it is snot, which is something I've been really trying to work hard towards with this project. So it all seems to blend in really well, which I'm happy about. Now the only question is, I do have some extra space back here. I might maybe separate it a little more, maybe add like a couple more layer of brick between the road and then the landing pad, but I do have this excess room. Like I said, I'm probably going to be moving this right landing pad over that way, and then in the middle we're going to have a little bit of like a, I guess like a cargo house or like a crate where I could put in the battery box, which can then simultaneously feed the wires to all the lights. But that's kind of going to be something that we're going to work on when the series is coming to a close. Again, those smaller details which I do want to have done, it's just not really necessarily important right now, especially since I don't have the resources. So number 2 of 3, we got both landing pads done. We finally got the second one. It was really easy going back and doing it again, because really all I had to do was copy the same exact design. But I do like it. Again, getting another shot of all the snot work we have on the mock. I think it's really coming together. So we do have the 2 landing pads done. I will be adding lights and all the extras very later on in the series. And then moving on to the third and final, and probably the most important, and the one I'm most happy about to say, I'm finally done with the wall. Now of course there are some little areas to kind of fix, you know, little patches of whatever that we have going around, but taking a step back over it, you can see that the entire wall is done, and you can see exactly how much room we have to work with for all the buildings, like the med bay and the barracks and the shield generator and the antennas. So we finally have a completed perimeter for the wall, and this is great because, as you guys might have known if you have been watching my videos for these segments, I have been growing increasingly tired and bored of building these walls. You might not be able to see, but there are thousands and thousands of brick just in the wall alone. Now the great part is, of course, these are all modular. So that being said, whenever I do want to take it apart, I still have to work on some interlocking things with the wall itself, but again, that's kind of like small details which I really don't need to work on until the finale. So of course we have Each side of the wall has 3 separate parts, and they're all modular, so you can pick them up, wrap them all in bubble wrap, and then of course put it in a bin or something if I do end up taking it to a convention. So that's great. Getting the wall done is a huge step up for us. It's really us taking that next step in the series, because I think the wall definitely came out great, and I do love the way it came out. It's definitely exactly what I envisioned it to be, and I'm very happy about that. It's really cool because before the series started, I did have actually this entire thing outlined in studio, and finally seeing it come alive in creation is a really, really awesome thing and a huge motivator. So this week I probably spent a combined maybe like 7-ish hours, 8 hours. The walls did take a little bit of time because I did have to figure out the exact stud length I have between the ends of the 2 corners. That way I can make sure this fits in kind of perfectly, and then obviously I did have to replicate that, and I did have to order a lot of these 1x2 garage bricks. I could finally happily say that I am done ordering those parts. Those are like ridiculously expensive, like 12 cents each, so a lot of those went into the wall, but I think it gives it a necessary aesthetic. Yes, you probably could have used other bricks to give it a really cool texture, but for me personally, I think using the garage modified 1x2 just makes it come together. So guys, we are ready to move on. We are officially ready to move on inside the base. This is what we've been waiting for. This is 12 weeks of work, and it's definitely had its ups and downs, obviously, as you guys know, but I mean, I'm very happy with what we have so far. The entire fort is outlined. I can finally stare back at the mock and the progress that we have so far and be very content and be very happy with where we are at. Now, of course, this does show you how much room we have to work with the mountain. I think the mountain's probably going to start around here. That's going to be something, that's going to be like the last thing that we work on. We're going to basically make sure this entire section right here is done 100%, and then we're going to move on to the mountain as like the last part of the build series, which honestly shouldn't be too terrible. I actually kind of already have ideas as to what I want to do, but for now, I am sitting back, soaking in and enjoying the view of Anaxes currently, guys. So that's going to kind of wrap up all the progress to talk about. I don't think there's anything more to talk about in terms of what we got done this week. Once again, we have the 2 beginnings of the towers, which parts are on their way for. We got the second landing pad, really completing the rest of the snot that I need to do with the entire mock, and then we have all the walls completely done, and I cannot be more happy with how stuff's looking. So let's go ahead and jump to the outro of building Anaxes in LEGO week 13. So guys, that brings week 13 to a close. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you're thinking. Of course, I want to hear your thoughts about what's going on. I am really motivated. I'm working extremely hard right now, and I'm trying to get as much done as I can. I think the combination of getting a lot done in different places definitely makes this segment a lot more productive and a lot more entertaining. So of course, let me know down below in the comment section what you guys are thinking. Now, of course, I do like to let you guys know where the series is going, what the future is, what the next week or 2 weeks of segments are going to be consisting of. Currently, as we are speaking, I am in the process of finalizing the entire left side of the fort Anaxes. So later on this week, I will be bringing a video basically showing you all the studio renders. I'm still tweaking a little bit of things. It's not quite ready yet, so I don't want to show it just yet in this video, but it's going to be a separate video coming out later this week, probably Monday or Tuesday. But I do want to let you guys know I'm currently in the process of creating the entire left side, so the barracks, the 2 barracks, the shield generator, and the satellite antenna dishes. I'm currently in the process of building the entire thing in studio, and when I am done with that, which should be hopefully by the end of this weekend, I will be bringing a video giving a complete rundown about what my plans are, and of course letting you guys know what's going on. So I have had like the barracks and other smaller things done for a little bit, but I'm gonna go in, finalize everything this weekend, and bring you all a video earlier coming out next week. Cannot tell you how incredibly relieved I am to finally be done with the boring stuff, right? When we first started the wall section, it was fun because it was something new. It was something that I did design myself, of my own creation, and I was happy because I think it looks really cool. So once we got like the 2 first front corner sections, I was like, okay, you know, this is getting a little repetitive. But then of course, it took a while, a lot of manpower, a lot of parts, and a lot of time to finish those walls. But I'm very happy to say we are done with them now. We can finally continue moving on, which I'm so thrilled about, and get to the meat, get to the juicy stuff with the series. And I'm really excited to be diving into the middle of the fort, building the buildings, the barracks, the med bay, the satellite dishes, the shield generators, all the cool stuff that's going to be consisting in this mock. We can finally start to move on to that. Now, what's kind of funny is that can be a double-edged sword because I don't have any more parts to work on anything else really. I'm just kind of designing stuff and ordering stuff. So what does kind of suck about that is it's really going to make sure that I'm on my toes, because if I don't spend the amount of time each week designing and ordering, there's not going to be a segment. Of of course I don't want to miss any segments unless I absolutely have to. So it's going to be a really good reality check for me. It's going to be keeping me in check, making sure I'm working my butt off and staying true to my word. So just know that I'm going to be working my absolute hardest when it comes to staying on top of the weekly segments. And yes, guys, I am still planning for a December 25th release. I think that is a date that is hard to reach, but I think it's attainable, and because I'm not buying the ISD just yet, I do think that I'm going to have enough money and enough time to actually finish it before then. So mid-November, we have to be done with the entire interior of the base. That means all the buildings have to be done, all the details have to be finalized, and I think with that month and a half to work on that back section of the wall and the mountain and the base wall, that's going to be, again, a difficult challenge, but if we are not done by mid-November with the entire inside of the fort, I don't think December 25th is going to be a reality. Now, of course, as motivated as I am done to get the project and the finale published on Christmas Day, that is still a date that can be changed. There's no rule saying I have to do that. It is what I am personally going for. However, if something comes up, of course, that date will have to change. But right now, assume that every single week we are going to be bringing Anaxes segments, Anaxes live streams, Anaxes hauls, and a Christmas Day finale. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hope you all enjoy. Once again, if you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing for your boy. It does mean a lot. And of course, a huge thank you to everybody who joins in on the live streams and watches this exact video. You all make building this mock so fun and such an incredibly humbling experience that I cannot thank you enough. Guys, that's gonna wrap it up. Hope you all enjoyed. Enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see y'all later. Take it easy. Peace.